Okay, I'm gonna be real. Like,
Be real, be real.
I don't think it's right me seeing a random person that's not related to my family at all going up to them, calling them auntie and uncle.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. Like,
I feel like it's
Bro,
more of a
But
respect.
I'm not that. I identify as an Italian, so I'm not.
Wait, what? The ages of like from 5 to like 10, they really feel any pressure because see they see me as a kid, they're like, oh, like pastor's kid, yeah. But then when you get to 11, that's when they start putting all this pressure on you, and like, bro, anything I do, they would be like, oh, the pastor's kid, you can't do that. Like for example, the church I used to go to. Obviously, I'm a kid, so during church I'll be on my phone like playing a game or something. And all the guys around me, they're playing games. But then there was this one lady, she'd always take my phone because
And
I'm
then
past
leave
this
the
kid,
others.
and everyone else around me is playing games. I'm like, oh, because you're past this kid. Oh, you need to be focusing. One day it will be you preaching.
Hey guys, did you miss us? We're back. We're back. Please, guys, subscribe. We need your subscriptions. We need them. Please, I beg you in Jesus' name, please. Subscribe for us, yeah? And yeah, we're back again with a new episode. And we've got cute looking, handsome guys with us. Am I right?
Emphasis on the cute.
Look at him. Cute. Singer, musician. In fact, everything. Film producer. In fact, look at him. It's part everything entertainment. He can do it. What can't he do? Guys, what can't he do? It's no other person than David. Round of applause. Fine boy, black boy, dreads. I keep saying it. Dress doesn't look good on everyone, but him, it looks good on you, babe.
thank you.
Okay, and on my left, we've got D, Divine, the dark skin, black, cute. Oh, he's dark skin.
Please, I'm not that. I identify as an Italian, so I'm not.
Wait, what?
What?
I identify. I'm Italian by nationality, so I'm
I said you're dark skin.
Yeah, but I'm.
Are you? Oh, okay, all right.
Moving on.
Man-
Moving on.
Okay,
Anyway, yeah.
moving on. Exactly. So
I'm black. I actually,
yeah, thank you very much. So, a round of applause for Divine.
That's me.
The guy that identifies as a white. Okay, right, okay. And on my further right, the drummer, the keyboardist, the bassist. Honestly, this boy. Guys, if you're looking for a musician, he's one of them. He's good at everything. And he's doing a program. What is it? First of February,
Make
guys.
sure you're there, guys. Make sure.
Please, minstrels. It's no other person than AJ.
One and
Man.
only.
So cute. Such a cute boy. Such a cute boy.
You cute, bro. You
And obviously, your host, no other person than B for Betty. Woo! Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, let's get on it quickly. So today we're going to be talking about different things. But one of the things that we're going to be talking about is: do you think peer pressure exists?
That's a good question.
Do you think peer pressure exists? You know, a lot of people, like as young people, we get through peer pressure easily. Like not easily, but people do feel like, oh, they're peer pressured to do things like, oh, like let's say you went to a party, not a bad party, just a normal party, and then you were peer pressured to like do stuff in that party. Because I've seen things like that where it's like it's a normal house party, not clubbing or anything like that, guys, but just that normal house party, and then people were peer pressured to do things they never wanted to do. Even in school, like I don't know about you. You grew up in the UK, and I feel like these things can be quite like, they happen a lot, isn't it? So,
yeah.
do you think peer pressure exists?
I think in a sense it does because let's say, like you said, in parties and clubs, if you don't do certain things, people see you as boring, or like they'll try to put a label on your name. Like if you don't do drugs or drink or any of them things, they will see you as boring, and no one wants to be perceived as that.
Exactly.
So it's not something that a lot of people enjoy, but they just do it so they don't carry around the boring label.
Exactly. I think that is so true. A lot of people, because in the name of not being boring, not being like, lame, they had to do things they don't want it to do. Do you all agree with that? That
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
low-key agree, but like at the same time, I disagree.
okay?
I feel like peer pressure is just a word that's been created for our generation. Because I feel like
Okay.
realistically, if you have the right state of mind, if someone's telling you to do something, if you don't do it, you're boring or you're lame, you're this, you're that. So what? So what if
Wow,
I'm
I love
bored?
what you
Exactly.
said. Emphasis on right state of mind. So a lot of people that probably sorry for interrupting you. Continue. Right state of mind. So the right state of mind, you will not be easily influenced to do things, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So with me personally, if someone told me to do, let's say for example, I went to a party with my friends. All my friends are drinking. They're like, "Oh, drink," but I know that I'm driving later. I'm gonna be like, "No, I'm not gonna drink because I'm gonna drive." You have to think about the consequences
Yeah.
later on.
Yeah, bigger picture, innit?
Yeah, exactly.
Agreed.
How about you, Divine?
Yeah, I think. Why are you laughing? Why is he laughing? Anyway,
Even do it. I'm sorry.
I think that peer pressure, chill, bro. I think peer pressure exists, you know, but I think like how.
Do you know what? Divine, you guys already saw Divine's introduction. So anything he says is like very.
Can't take this guy.
You can't take him seriously.
I'm gonna be as professional as I can.
Okay, B.
Okay, so
Okay.
can we start
Let's
again?
listen. Let's listen.
Peer
Okay.
pressure, yeah, peer pressure exists, but I think to the extent like.
Bro, talk, yeah? What's going
You're
on?
taking too long.
Yeah, exactly.
The extent at which peer pressure, let me talk in my normal way. The extent,
Is there is
The-
there a different way you talk or
yeah, because depending on the people I'm interacting with,
Okay.
speaking about peer pressure,
Okay.
like there's a way I speak, like you know how I'm speaking to you right now, but
Exactly. He's
When-
being peer pressure to speak in a
but
certain
then
way.
because in my mind, just like the way he said that the state of mind in my mind, I think that if I speak like this, I'm not one of
Them
society.
Brits, yeah.
So I think peer pressure does exist, but the extent of which it causes you to make certain decisions, it actually depends on you, because stuff like how I was speaking initially, and I don't think it is peer pressure, but it doesn't lead me to do certain things that would be detrimental, you know.
So you agree that all of us are kind of peer pressured?
Some way, some,
mean,
I mean,
look at-
Sorry to cut you off, but like
Yeah.
you're saying, it depends how like the people you're with.
not necessarily. I think peer pressure will always exist, but it depends on you as a person, how you deal with, like how you make peer pressure influence your decisions. You know what I
I
mean?
hear it. I hear it.
Yeah. So it will
Fair
always exist as
So
a
it
social
makes
people.
sense what he's saying.
Yeah.
bit.
So there will always be peer pressure,
A bit.
but
Nah,
you
to
think
me-
about the consequences of that peer pressure.
Yeah.
Because to be fair, like I don't know, is anyone having an Android here?
Nah.
Nah.
Nah,
Okay, but do you not think like you're a bit peer pressure to even use the phones you
Exactly.
use?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
A little bit to an extent, but at the same time, it's all down to preference.
Okay.
If I wanted to
Very
get
true.
iPhone because I wanted it, I would get it. If I wanted an Android, I'd get it. It's not because my boys are saying, "Oh, you have an Android. Look at your emojis." You get me?
Nah.
Nah, do you know them
Some
ones when-
people
yeah.
do. They
Yeah,
might
you know
feel
them
that
ones when you
way.
post on your Snaps,
They might.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so true.
Because emojis, nah. Yeah. I know what he's talking about.
Android emojis are
If you have an Android,
embarrassing.
Sorry, bro.
go get an
Time
iPhone
for the
right now.
switch up.
Sorry,
I'll pay
bro.
for you.
Talking
if you
about peer pressure. Yeah, but to be fair, we all have. There's some sort of peer pressure, but it just depends on obviously still having that right state of mind and then still maintaining your individuality. Do you
Yeah.
understand? And still
That's a
being
big
like, oh, because even in like style, like some people around some certain guys and some certain girls, they have to dress in a certain way because they feel like if I'm not dressed that certain way, I feel like I'm just like, how do you say it? Like, how would you
Yeah.
say it in slang? Like you're
Like you don't fit in.
exactly you don't
Yeah.
fit in because you're like your look is boring.
Yeah.
I hear it.
But at the same time, I feel like if you ever feel like that, like peer pressure in general from people who think are your friends, you need to check your people because,
That's a good one.
like,
Check your people.
Point. That's good.
Check
you need
them.
That's
to
good.
like
Check
people.
them.
You can enjoy someone's company so much, but deep down, you know that you're not meant to be in that circle. You're not meant to be in that space. But some people are scared to be true to themselves. that's one thing our generation lacks. Because if people were true to themselves, a lot of people would be more successful in this life. But because they're
Yeah.
following friends and not thinking about the bigger picture, like AJ said, it's just getting them in the wrong places at the wrong times. And then that's why a lot of our youth have been dying.
people, sorry to cut you off, how do people end up in their friend groups?
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
The thing is, people like, they see life as like a visual thing. Let's say I see a guy there who has the same style as me, like matches my vibe. Of course, I'm gonna want to get to know him. That's how friendships start. It's all visual. You won't see an ugly person, not to be rude, but you won't see someone that doesn't fit you completely, and you'd be like, oh yeah, I want to be friends with them. Like something interests you. Like as a musician, if I see someone that can play something I can't, I'm gonna want to interact with them to learn how to play that. So there's always some sort of interest or some sort of relation when you're meeting someone new or making friends. That's how I
Yeah.
think friends are made. Or it could be through one of your own friends that you already have. That's how some friendships are made. But one thing we need to understand is that not everything that looks good is good. Like, my mom always tells me this, not all that glitters is gold. It may look nice and appealing on the outside,
So you know he's
but
Ghanaian.
when
See, Ghanaian.
you like look into it, you start seeing the true colors of things, and it just messes you up as a person. So I feel like if you are experiencing any sort of peer pressure from your friends or something, try get out of that situation as soon as possible, because it will have a heavy influence on your life. Then the next thing you know, you'll be too deep in that you can't get out. So I think that's something that our generation needs to take into
That's so
consideration.
true. And one question I wanted to ask, because talking about friendships and things like that, a lot of people have friends that are very toxic. Friends that would, they're bullies. Do you understand? But you're just so scared to like, because that's my friend, you get what I mean? But you know that person is a bully, is very toxic. And you're in as you said, you're in a friendship group. You know that, there's one of them. There's always one, let's be honest, on a friendship group that is quite toxic, but no one is able to like, how do I say it? Like,
Cut them off.
cut them off. Cut them off. What steps can you take as a person to, take off this kind of people? Because it's quite common, as you were saying, like
yeah.
it's quite common.
really,
Whereas like they're always, it's good. Like obviously you guys are quite, like you guys, you can laugh at each other and things like that. But there's boundaries. Like I've seen like with them and them, like that's too much.
Yeah.
And that's too much.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's always that one person that's always doing it.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? How do you cut them off? Or how do you, but you're in a friendship group, you don't want to lose your friends as well. But you're in that friendship group. And obviously if that person is like that, it's quite intimidating. Do you get? So how would you guys deal with that?
If I'm being so honest, I don't think people are like that by choice. I feel like there's always a reason behind like why everyone does something. And what I've noticed with like a couple of my old friendship groups is that some people are toxic or abusive like towards their friends is because that's what they experience at home. And that's probably the only way they can kind of relieve themselves or express themselves. So me personally, I would speak to that person behind closed doors and see what's happening, because I believe everyone can change for the better.
True.
I don't think you should cut someone off first time because of an incident. Like you have to work your way around it.
Okay.
So yeah, that's how I would approach it.
Yeah,
personally.
but the people like that, they're not really understanding. Like, they don't really feel bad for the stuff they do. So how do you reckon speaking to them would resolve the matter?
That's a good question, but it's like everyone has that side of them, but for different people it's easier or harder to get to that side. That's why you need to have that time. If you truly think that person can change, they can. But sometimes it's not always our fight to change that person. We have to leave it to the Most High. But all we can do as Christians is pray for them. Because prayer can be anything. You just have to be consistent with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Yeah. Pray. I agree. I believe that some people have to be cut off in your life.
True.
It's for your own mental health as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I believe, but as you said, I would pray for you, yeah, but on a distance.
Yeah, you
Not
can pray
everyone
from a
has to go in
distance.
my boat.
Yeah.
I mean, about that, the Bible, I know it talks about friends, and the way it conveys the idea of friendship is like it's really up to us. It's not really praying or necessarily asking God to change this person, because the Bible, I hear references to, oh, show me your friend and I'll show you how you are. So like I think it's based on you, the person, once again, picking the right people, because you decided to mingle
I
with.
don't necessarily agree with that, because not everyone, people are at different stages in their life. Do you get? There might be people that they're in a very bad stage, and you don't know if you're actually going to be that person that's going to help them. So sometimes when people say, yeah, pick your friends, I agree with that. But sometimes there are people that they will be bad people as your friends. I've had friends of mine that were not necessarily the Christian girls, but then I was in their life for a season to help them in certain things. Do you understand? So sometimes I don't always agree with the fact that you should just how do I say it? Because somebody maybe is not as Christian as you, or as, do you get what I mean? So that means you have to cut them off. Do you understand? I think that you can still be close to them. Obviously, if you're in a mental state, as you said, in a good mental state, nothing that will happen will influence you.
Yeah.
Do you understand? But you can be friends. I mean, how are we going to win people outside to Christ if we're not even being receptive to them?
Yeah, that's
Are all your friends all Christians?
No.
That's not possible. You will have normal people that, do you get what I mean? But the most important thing is that you're a light. Do you get? You are light. You shouldn't, they actually should be drawn by you, not you drawn by them, if that makes sense.
yeah.
So that's how it should be. Okay, what about you, AJ? What do you think?
Well, me personally, I feel like if I'm in a group
Yeah.
and there's this one person that's always like being unkind to others, I'll get a second opinion from the other people in the group,
Okay.
and then we'd go to him as a group and we'd be like, "Yo, bro, like we don't like the way you're moving, like." And then if he tells us there's something going on, we'll try and help him.
Yeah.
With, like my brother David said, prayers. All we can do is pray for them as Christians.
Yeah.
We can't like tell him stop and then cut him off straight away.
Yeah.
Because we have to give everyone a second chance. And if it carries on, then we can start distancing ourselves like bit by bit. And eventually, if they carry on, like we don't speak anymore. You get?
Yeah. Okay, so what we got from this is that if you're in a friendship group, guys, and you are or you're in a friendship group that there's like toxic people on it, talk about them, have a conversation with them, and if they're not receptive, you can like give them a bit of a distance and pray for them. Is that what we all agree with?
And
Basically.
one thing to add on, like, not all friends are your friends. Some people are sent into your lives to teach you lessons. Some of them can be positive lessons, some can be negative lessons. Because friends and enemies, they all have the same letters in them, the same amount of letters in them.
Wow.
So
That's good.
you need to think
even know
that
that.
there's
That's deep, you know?
synonyms. Like there's always positive and negative side to life. So not all friends are your friends. Some of them are just there to teach you lessons, to not fall into certain traps again.
Later in life.
And that can come, like I said, in a heavy way or a positive way. But it's up to you to take them lessons in. Because
You sound like you have experience. You might
yeah,
let
very
us
much
know.
so, you know.
What happened?
Very much
Like-
so. It's not even like what happened, it's just what I've seen and what I've heard. Obviously, I've had my personal experiences, but I thank God that mine hasn't been so heavy. But what I've seen that's happened to other people, and God has used me as like a tool, as like a middleman to kind of amend things. I've seen like the deeper side of how friends can be. They can be your friends one day, but they can be your biggest
Then
enemy
switch
the next
on
day.
on you.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one thing I've noticed.
You know, that's something I see in this country. You know, back in Ghana, it's really like the friendship system. It's not like that. In Ghana, people aren't really, when people are close together, they don't really just get separated by a random thing.
Oh, really?
Like people are more affectionate than, like in school. What I noticed in school is that you can see people hanging around for about a week and then they just all of them scatter and then they find different friends. But in Ghana, it was not like that. We were all in school. Everyone was chilling with everyone. Like, we all knew each other. We were all that sort of family. But over here, there's more of a divide. It's just you, your friendship group. If you go to, like, if you're in the same, I don't know about the workplace, but in school, if you just talk to people in your friendship group, no one else. You know what I mean?
I think that's a thing that comes with culture, you know, because as a Ghanaian, we are taught to kind of love one another, like love your neighbor as you would love yourself. And I feel like in the UK, people aren't true to themselves. It's more of a thing where they're caught up in the social media life. People are very influenced with what's happening on socials.
Absolutely.
So when they hear one thing here on socials, it's like they try to live that lifestyle that's not for them. And I believe that's why a lot of people don't really get to the goal of what their calling is meant to be. That's what I would see it as.
Yeah,
But
that's another thing. There's a lot of social media pressure. Absolutely. Even in church-wise, to be honest. Like, you see a certain church and people want to repeat that. Everybody should be individual. They should be unique in their own way. So that's why you see certain churches that they would copy other churches because social media, because that church is playing in a certain way and that is popular at the moment. So we're all going to play that sound.
Well,
Do you guys not agree with that?
I do.
You musicians, I'm
agree.
asking the musicians.
Oh.
Do you not agree with that?
I agree.
That's like, there's a sound now that is quite
Especially
popular.
like the new chant worship type of things.
Yeah.
A lot of churches are trying it. It's not for every church. That's
It's
all I'm
not
gonna
for
say.
every church.
Exactly. Like,
That's the thing.
different churches worship in different ways, but because of the influence of social media, they can't stay true to themselves. Like, social media has such a big effect that it's affecting the house of the Lord. We're mixing in the worldly visuals of things where we're not staying true to what the Bible is actually saying. We're trying to copy someone else's flow when God has given us our own flow.
Yeah.
Different churches, some churches are meant to be doing the chants thing. Some are meant to be doing the normal gospel thing. Some are meant to be doing the African praise thing. But because the chances was seen as the most holy now.
I wouldn't say holy, but I would say the people maybe view it as spiritual.
Yeah.
But every church has their type of way of doing worship. Do you
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah.
So you shouldn't, because maybe this church is doing, that's what they've always done. That's the vision of that church.
Exactly.
But then you doing it in your own church, knowing that that's not the sound, because every church has a sound. Every church has their own sound, and then doing it. That's why, like, there's some videos I see online, and I'm like, that's no, just no. Like, why are you guys doing that? Why are you
Like
guys
what?
doing that? No, I won't say no, because this is not the right place for me to say name churches. Is no, absolutely
Yeah,
not.
that's
But
fair enough.
there are things I see, and as you guys musicians, do you feel pressure to play in a certain way? Like, because let's be honest, like now the chants and all this kind of things, do you feel like, oh, I have to be playing this certain way? Because let's be honest, there is a sound. If you go to certain churches, they have that sound that is so nice, but it might not be the sound for your own church, and even for you as a musician, that might not be your sound. Your sound might be, oh, be lifted. Do you get? And someone else's sound might be dum, 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 like, we hail you.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
How do you cope with that as a musician? Especially you, AJ, you go to a lot of, like, I mean, AJ is a minister. He's
Yeah.
Hey.
Minister
ministers.
AJ. We are ministers.
As a bassist, one of the
This
things
guy's not touched the bass a day in his life.
as a bass, I'm learning
bassist.
as a bassist. The flow, it doesn't flow sometimes.
Okay.
Like,
What, the
He
flow's
has
not
never
flowing?
flowed.
it has never flowed.
All right, thank
I
you
hope
very much,
the
Divine.
churches, they have to make sure it flows,
Yeah,
because I
thank
don't
you.
like. Yeah, so as a bassist, it's an interesting.
Okay, thank you very much, Divine. Medase, why?
No problem. No
Okay.
problem.
Thank you very
But
much.
yeah, I hear where you're coming from, but me personally, I feel like, because obviously I'm not trying to like be big headed or anything, but
Yeah.
I'm a very versatile drummer. So I can go to a different church if they're doing a different type of worship. I can easily fit in a way. But
That's true.
with me, my personal preferences, I'm gonna say this live. I don't really like the chant type of worship,
Okay.
but because that's sort of a trend now, I can cope with it. I can, deal with it, get used to it. But normal type of worship for me it hits because that's the worship I grew up with. But with the new generation, obviously they're growing up on a chant type of worship, so maybe when they hear the chant type of worship, they feel the Holy Spirit. But with me, old school type of worship, I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I love chants, and you guys know I'm a chanter. But that's naturally how I am. Do you get what I mean?
So the chanting, is it tongues or like what exactly is the chant?
Oh, honestly, I don't want to go into that conversation.
Oh,
Yeah, I won't go into that.
Oh,
But
that
yeah,
way.
that's fine. That's good.
No,
Okay,
right.
guys. No, I don't want to go into that. So, why do you think a lot of youth members leave church?
That's a heavy topic.
Why? Because we lose youths a lot. Why?
That's true. I just feel like a lot of
Especially
the
in
time,
the old school churches.
a lot of the time, like the youth are expected to do so much, or the aunties and uncles.
Aunties
will-
and uncles,
yes,
or
the
you
aunties
people
and
should
uncles,
listen.
they will criticize
Tia?
the youth. Like they will criticize, they will beat the youth up verbally.
the massacre.
Like
Wow.
just the way
Massacre.
just the way they look, just the way they present themselves, just the way if they're a bit bigger or too skinny, they'll say something that has nothing to do with the reason why they came to church for. And obviously, as youthful members, you're more inclined to your emotion side and stuff like that. So it's just gonna build up, and then the youth will get the wrong picture of what coming to church is. Obviously the adults have been through their childlikehood and they grew up, but as a youth they're just gonna feel like church is a toxic space. Like I used to go to church with someone, and I think he must have like had his hair sponged, like where it looks a bit spiky and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
And he was getting battered for it week to week, like, and he's a very presentable guy. He didn't even come looking scruffy, like, but it just got so much that he just stopped coming. And he's still Christian and he's still very inclined with Christ, which I'm thankful for God for. But I just feel like even if it was a problem, you don't approach it in a criticizing way. There's
Okay.
different ways.
Highlight that. Even if it's a problem,
Yeah.
it shouldn't be approached in a criticizing way.
Exactly. And another person I used to go to church with, she didn't sing all the time, but whenever there was like a program or Children's Day, she would come and sing. And she had a very good voice. But after I heard a lot of aunties complaining that, oh, why is it always her that's singing? Why can't my kids sing? This, that. But when they gave the opportunity to the other kids to sing, they didn't want to do it. So they thought there was some sort of favoritism or something like that. So I feel like, me personally, from what I've seen growing up, a lot of youthful members leave the church due to criticism and just unnecessary hate, in a sense, towards them. There's not a lot of support to them. That's what I
That's
think.
so sad, honestly. It's so sad. And there's a lot of, that's sad that they were saying that about him for singing. And that's another thing. Well, we'll go into that after because I don't want us to deviate, but I'll just say this. The choir is not for everyone. Choir is not for everyone. That you like singing doesn't mean you're actually a good singer. So just saying, but we'll get into that after. Because that's something we'll get into after. But yeah, what about you guys?
Well,
Why are a lot of youth members leaving church?
well, so I grew up in a Winners Chapel household. I don't know if you know about that, Living Faith Church. And growing up, there weren't much of. I didn't see many people I mean, as in youth, because I was a kid, so obviously I'm with my parents and stuff like that. So I didn't really have a say in whether, like, as a kid, you're with your parents, they're going to church.
Yeah.
So I didn't see. Maybe today, maybe if I go back to my church today, maybe a lot of people have left, but I don't think if I was still in Ghana I don't think I would have left because I was getting impacted by what I was studying. So I don't really have much of an experience with
All that.
people leaving church. So yeah.
Okay. How about you?
To build on what David was saying earlier, a lot of youth these days, they leave because of criticism. Let's say, for example, you go to a church and then the youth, like, the way they dress. Obviously, these days, everyone likes to wear, like, jeans or cargos or anything. The aunties will be like, oh, the way you've dressed, like, it's not good. Then they'll, like, feel some type of way. They'll feel like, oh, they're not welcome in the church, so then they'll leave. But then, from what I've seen as well, this is a bit opposite to what David was saying. But I know someone that left the church because they would come church, they want to help out, they want to be part of, like, a team, do something in the church, but they're not being given the opportunity.
Okay.
So then they just feel left out.
Yeah.
So then they'll leave. They'll go somewhere where they feel appreciated.
Appreciated. Yeah. Yeah. I absolutely agree with that. Yeah. Yeah, I think for me, I would stand on... I agree with the things he said, but that a lot of youth want to do a lot of things in the house of God, but they're not encouraged because the old ones want to do it. You want to sing when you can't sing. When they're youth that can't sing. No, it's true. Like, we have to be honestly honest. Honestly honest.
That's a new one.
Yeah.
Gotta be honestly
Guys,
honest.
we have to be honestly honest. Like, you can't do that. You know you're not a good singer, but you don't want... Oh, no, why are the youths coming to... what are they going to do? Why are they... Like, you're looking down on them.
Yeah, exactly.
When they are the ones that actually would do it better than you. And that's what happens a lot in old school churches.
Yeah.
Is that, there are people, they're even instruments. Like, I'm so... like, you're not good. Allow people that are better than you to do it. No, you want to hold it like your... Do you get what I mean? This is something that our parents, please, listen to that. And the older generation, there are certain things that, yes, you brought us up in the ways of God and we love it, but allow the youth to find expression. Allow the media team. You know, the youth are better at that, probably. There are people that have passion for it. But no, you want to be the one to project it, and it takes you 20 hours to project the scripture.
Yeah, I feel like they are also... You know how, like, in the Bible it says that the newer generation are meant to take over the church. They are kind of scared. I feel like the people that are criticizing the youth about not joining a community, they're scared that they're going to get overtaken in a sense, or they're going to do a better job than them in a sense. And I feel like a lot of churches have forgotten the meaning of coming to church. It's more of like a personal thing now, where, like, they're not really there to worship. They're just there to have a platform or have something
To showcase themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, they don't want to give any other person a chance.
The opportunity.
I don't think it's right at all, but
No.
yeah.
No. And talking about that, I'm going to talk about something that, I don't know. So what do you guys think about churches that have one person as always the lead singer? You know, there are churches that is only one person, but there are other people that are good at singing. But it's always one person that leads.
Me personally,
You see, yeah.
I feel like in some churches it will work because maybe it's to do with, like, familiarity. So they've used to be seeing this person lead all the time. Or maybe there's not people that want to lead yet because they're not ready. They don't feel ready. But at the same time, I feel like when it gets to a point where there's always one person, there's probably someone in the crowd that can sing better than them. Cause I've been somewhere. I'm not even gonna say names.
Of course.
But there was someone that was leading. There was someone that was leading worship. Bro, I kid you not. We started on A, we ended on F.
Hey!
He ended on F.
Or 7
He jumped 6 keys.
He ended on F.
Hey, already.
And then when they
7
finished,
keys.
someone came to give a testimony. Some guy I've never seen before. He sang so beautifully. I even approached him after the service, asked him to join our choir.
Wow. You see what I mean?
There's always hidden talent.
There is.
No, but why would there always be one lead singer? Like, what's the point of that?
Exactly. But there are churches where there's maybe the face of the church, the choir, or I don't know, like there's just only one person that leads, and there are other singers. Just imagine, like I was always the one leading in Woolham. Do you not think that would also lead to pride?
In a
within me?
sense.
It would.
In
Like
a sense,
without knowing it, I'll start becoming proudful. So for me personally, I feel like the good structure is that if you have strikers that are good, they should be allowed to play games. So if you have good singers in your ministry that you know that they're spirit filled and whatsoever, they should be allowed to get turned, because what happens is that you're basically now starting to make a bit of an idol, because when that person is not there, even in fact that person can now start, I'm not sorry, I can't come, I can't. Is the
Exactly.
is the things like, are we not going to do worship that day?
It's not productively
It's
efficient.
not exactly. It's not efficient. What did you say?
I said it's not productively efficient.
Okay, very big words. So yeah, that. And then I said I was going into music. I don't know how we went into music, but there are a lot of people, as I said, that have a passion to do certain things in the house of God, but they don't have the skills.
Oh. So as someone
So-
who has
Yeah.
oh sorry. So as someone who has a lot of passion for photography,
Okay.
when I moved here in my old church, I wasn't a photographer, but when I moved here and I saw the opportunity to join the media team, I grasped it because this is my
I
passion.
grasp it.
I grasped it.
I grasp it.
Yes, this is my passion. My dad used photography to reach where he is. My brother is a photographer, so genetically, I'm a photographer. It is part of my genetics.
There's no way.
Genetically, he's a
Yes.
photographer.
It is in my
Wow.
DNA. It is in my DNA to be a photographer. So, I joined the media team, and initially I was with Jaden projecting the scriptures, and then I saw that we had a camera, but there was no one. So I was like, oh, just give me the camera, and I started taking pictures. And the head of so yeah, take the risk, even though you don't have the skill, but you can learn to develop it over time as you're practicing it, because practice, as always, makes perfect. So
Yeah.
the leader of the media team in my church allowed me to. He said, "Wow, you're actually really good at it." And I said, "Oh, it was my dad's genetics." So I just took advantage.
That's
and then
genetics.
I just took advantage and just kept doing it, and here
Okay.
I am. Yeah. So
So based on his own experience, he had the passion for it, but he didn't really have the skills.
exactly.
But then now you are still doing it.
Still developing.
Okay.
You know?
So what are you doing to bettering your skills?
Well, so there's casual videos on the internet that tell you how you can adjust. So initially we were using a camera, but the camera wasn't really. Why is he laughing?
I'm smiling. I promise you, I'm
The
smiling.
camera was of low quality. So there was one day I didn't have access to the camera, and then I asked the leader for his Samsung S24 Ultra, which had a very good camera.
Fair.
And then I've been watching videos. No,
So
no.
that's the professional skills.
Yeah, what? I thought the S24 just came out this year, bro.
Wait. I think that is the
That is this professional equipment, but Isaac.
the S23 Ultra with the wide lens scope with a big 16 millimeter. Anyway, yeah. So
Hey, nah.
there's videos on the internet that, believe it or not, like they show you how to professionally, like when you're colorizing the environment or the pictures, you know. So yeah,
Okay.
there's a lot of things that go into developing your skills.
Well, if someone should tell you that you're good, or you think you're good and what you're doing,
I'll just genuinely, I'll just say it's by the grace of God.
Okay.
I don't think anything is up to my actions. I think ultimately it's by the grace of God.
oh, okay. Do you think that?
I agree
Do you
with what you're
think
saying.
that everything you're doing, when you look at yourself, do you say, "Oh, it's the grace of God," or "I know that by God's grace I'm doing well with what I'm doing"? Because this answer, I didn't really understand it. Like, by the grace of God. If someone
Yeah.
should ask you, "Am I good in what I'm doing?" Would you say it's by the grace of God, or would you say,
Well,
"I'm good.
I'm good by
at
the
what
grace
I'm
of
doing
God.
by the grace of
Yeah.
God"? Okay,
That's
makes
what
sense.
I mean. That's
Makes
what I
sense.
mean.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. How about you? Would you think you're?
Wait,
What do you
sorry,
think
what
about
was the question again?
people that have a passion for something in church, but actually they don't have the
Okay.
skills
Me personally,
or the talent? That's the word, the talent, not skills.
Me
Sorry,
personally.
talent.
I feel like if you have the passion to do something, obviously go for it. I'm not saying if you don't have the skill, don't go for it, because then that would just be me like telling you, oh, don't chase your dreams. You get, but if you have the passion for something and you know you don't have the skill, don't like say that you're good at this. Just be humble, learn, and then take action. You can't just one day wake up say, okay, cool, I want to be a drummer. You have to put in the work. You can't just go to a church and be like, okay, I want to learn how to play the keys, and go see at the keyboard and you can't find where C is. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, you have to put in the work. You need to, if you truly have the passion, you will put in the work.
Naturally.
How long have you been playing drums?
Oh, how old am I? I'm 19. I've been playing for 15 years.
And when did at what age did you start? Yeah,
I started when I
because
was
he started when he was young.
Yeah, I started when I was 4.
Because that's a talent,
And-
and that's where I'm back
Fun
to saying.
fact.
For me, I feel like the fact that you started at an early age shows that you had a talent.
Fun fact, my first instrument was actually a guitar
Wow,
at the age of 2.
wow.
Yeah.
So, some people are just born with it. Clap your hands for that.
Applause.
Just born with it. Yeah.
I was born with photography.
Yeah. Genetically a photographer. Genetically a photographer. Okay, so what you're saying is that if you like it, you can do it and then work on it, to make it grow. But okay, let's go to him first.
I would say if you have a passion for something, but you don't think you have the skills required for it, I would say you still go for it, because, of course, in life, some people are born with gifts that may kind of think you're too late or you're delayed, but you need to understand that everyone has their own paths in life. Everyone has their own lanes to run in. Just because you see someone that is ahead of you in what you want to do in the same field, that doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. You need to understand that slow progress is better than no progress. As long as you're making that small motion as you're progressing, then that's all that matters.
But guys, this person doesn't have a talent in this.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
So if they don't have a talent, what is driving them to want to do this?
Because at the end of the day, I understand what you're saying, but that the sole fact that you have passion for it, for me, but you say, okay, I'll talk about what I do because I sing. I personally feel like, the narrative in church is that, oh, let everyone, so far they want to serve God, let them do it. I think I believe in excellency. I'm not Aretta Anderson. I'm not a great singer. Do you get what I mean? But I believe that, by the grace of God, I'm trying. Do you understand? It's not enough to have, for me, it's not enough to have the feeling or ambition. Okay, for example, I can feel like, I want to be a photographer, but at the end of the day, I'm not good with images or visuals, but I want to do it. I would still struggle because I'm not good at those things. Even though I feel like I want to do it, I like it, I will struggle. Okay, for example, like our MD Isaac learned how to do photography by himself, right? But I would say it's a talent, because this production that we're doing, if you see the videos and everything, you can see that it's so clear, so nice. Do you get what I mean? For me, I believe that yes, you have to put in the work, of course, but you have to have it in you. I'm that kind of person that believe that you have to have it in you. There are certain things that you can grow in skills, do you understand? But certain things I don't believe you can. And one of those things for me personally, I feel like music. Music is something that is either you have it or you don't have it. And that's why some people, no matter how they sing for years, they still can't grasp that they're off key. They don't know that they're off key. In their minds, they are singing. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
It's something that it's either you have it or you don't have it. There are even people that they're not even great singers, but they're very good. They're very good in. They can understand when the music is off. They can understand when the music is good. Do you get what I mean? So I'm in that place where I'm not trying to I'm not trying to come for you, but I'm just saying that for me, God has a standard of excellency. Do you understand? We shouldn't do things if that's what is available at that moment, that's fine. But if you have available gold and you're giving me wood, I would pick gold. Do you get what I mean? If I have available a diamond and there's gold, which one would you pick? Which one is more expensive? Diamonds are more expensive, guys. Just saying, if you didn't know.
So based on that, like, do you reckon God would bless a less talented person any less than a more talented
Nah,
person?
you're getting it
I'm
wrong.
not talking.
You're getting it
No,
wrong.
I'm not talking
It's
about
not about
that.
the talent, it's about the heart.
And
Yeah, but she's basing it off talent.
No.
No.
I'm talking about the talent aspect.
Yeah.
But in the talent aspect, talent is not just enough. If you want to be a worshipper or someone and a minister, because we have gospel artists and we have ministers. Do you get? We have people that are called gospel artists, and that's fine. They have the voice. They're very good at singing. But we have people that minister to him. Do you understand? And it's the posture of your heart. Do you understand? The Bible says that we should offer ourselves holy and acceptable. Do you understand? Offer our bodies as a living sacrifice.
yeah.
Holy and acceptable, which is in the version of the NLT or NIV says, which is our true worship. Do you understand? So in as much as, yes, you need the talent, because if not, you wouldn't listen to people like, I don't know, Nathaniel Bassey. They know how to sing.
Yes.
Do you get what I mean? But after the talent, what happens? The talent is not enough. You need more. You need a consecrated life. Do you understand?
Yeah,
So
I'm just
I'm not necessarily talking about. Now I'm referring to talent. That if you want to start, maybe say music or whatsoever, they should not. I won't even say talent, but you should have a passion, and you should know that okay, I can get this.
So
Because
in
you said
terms
you
of-
started playing drums at 4. At 4 years, you were playing drums. Most of the musicians I know, not all, they start at a young age. Because probably that's, even from when they were small, they were already like playing with things. Maybe
Pots
probably
and
you were
pans,
playing with,
Pens
exactly.
on tables,
Exactly.
on my lap, anything I would find.
Exactly.
Bro.
Exactly. So that kind of shows that, this person, some people, if they would develop it, you will realize that maybe when they're in church, they just like, have you not seen kids? That they will just go and play with keys and things like that. You already see that in them, that they have a trait. Obviously, when you have a trait, you have to cultivate it. It's a seed. Do you get? You have to cultivate it. But I do think that you need to have a certain, at least the talent. Then when you have the talent, you grow it spiritually and you grow it as well normally. Because some of us, we don't do, we don't learn. We just stay there in our playing. I learned how to play keyboard, but I don't know how to play well. I only do do, fa, sol, do, fa, sol. That's the only thing. Because I didn't grow that gift, that thing. Do you get what I mean? What did you want to say?
I just wanted to make sure, like, what exactly the point you're making is. Like, are you talking about in the house of God or in the music industry?
No, I'm talking about in the house of God.
Oh, so you're saying that you need talent to be able to do stuff like music in the house of God?
You have to have the talent, yeah. I personally, I wouldn't. I
I
would not
low-key
argue
disagree
about
with
that. Okay.
So this is not even just for the music side. This is for anything. I feel
Okay.
like you can. There's two types of people. You either have the talent or
Or
you
you
have
can
the
grow it.
passion.
Okay.
Because let's say with me, I started with guitar. I had the talent, but then obviously I didn't put in the work. So then everyone around me was like leveling up faster than I was because obviously I wasn't putting in the work. I was like, oh yeah, I have the talent. I have the talent. And then now that I look back, if I had put in the work, I could have improved so much. And then only recently I've just started like when I'm bored I'll practice a little bit. But even with the drum side, I don't really practice.
Oh, really?
That's just talent. But imagine if I put in the hard work.
Yeah.
And then there's other people that they weren't born with it. They just had
Put in the hard
like
work.
let's say they saw someone, they were like, oh, I want to do something like that, and then they just start putting the hard work. You can see, you
Yeah.
can see the
I
progress.
think that's basically everything in life. Like,
Yeah, because
just as long as like people say the universe, but as long as
What do you mean universe?
bro, as long as there's nothing that you put your mind towards that you can't achieve. Like, if regardless whether you have passion or talent, I think passion would keep driving you in times where you feel down and unmotivated. It is a passion that's gonna keep helping you to push forward. So I think as long as you put in the work, the sky really beyond the sky really is your limit. Like,
yeah,
you know?
because being born with a talent, if you don't put that talent into practice, you're not gonna like.
Yeah. But I did say you have to cultivate it.
Yeah, of
Oh, yeah,
course,
yeah.
Yeah, you can't. Every talent that you receive, anything
Yeah.
that God has put in you, He requires you to cultivate it.
Yeah.
Remember the parable of the 5 talents.
Yes.
So He wants you. He doesn't want you to bury your talent or the things God has put in you, because it's two type of Christians. We have people that would bury, and people that would, what are sowers. When you sow your giftings, you have a harvest.
Exactly.
Do you get? Yeah. Carry on.
Yeah, so I feel like let's put two people, yeah. Let's say one person was born with a talent that was set for something. Let's say someone was a good singer, for instance. Let's say someone was born tone deaf but had a passion, but would always work hard to improve their voice. Of course, the person that has the passion and puts hard work into it will kind of elevate more, because although they wasn't born with it, if you put the time and effort into something, no matter how many years it will take, you'll still come out good. There's no way that it won't work, because if you take your time with something, everything starts off with baby steps. It's like when a baby is born, they start off with the small steps. Some babies walk way faster than other babies, but at the end of the day, when they all grow up, we're all walking. We're all walking.
That's a very good
like,
analogy.
unless they're disabled and they're not able to stand, they will all walk. Like, a baby could be walking in the
Eventually.
first 5 months of their life. Some it will take them 9, but eventually they'll all be walking, because
Yeah.
some kids just have it in them to walk faster than others. But that doesn't mean like there's like a competition, because
Yeah.
when you look back now, what we're all walking now, what
Exactly.
like
So the
like,
point
like you
is,
said earlier, we're all on the same journey.
Just
Someone will
'cause
get
some-
to the destination
exactly.
faster.
Yeah.
doesn't mean you're behind.
Exactly.
Everyone has their own pace, their own time.
Yeah.
so
yeah.
so the point is, do you need talent or not?
You don't. Me personally, if you have a passion for it and you're willing to work for it, then do it. Some people, they see it from the outside, they go into it, but when they see it's too hard, that's when they step back. But that's on them. That means they liked it visually. They didn't want to work for it. But then that's when they be like, oh, God didn't do this for me. God didn't do that. You need to understand, God, He will bless those who like put hard work into things. Like, He's not a genie. Like, he can't just rub the lamp and be like, oh yeah, God, I want this, I want that, I want that, and expect not to work for it.
Yeah.
With prayers, there's a physical side to it and there's a spiritual side to it. The physical side, let's say you want money or you want to save money. The spiritual side, you pray for it. The physical side, you actually have to do things that will benefit you to save that money.
Exactly.
Like, it's not just gonna happen in a finger click. So we need to understand that as Christians. God isn't stupid. Like, you can't just pray once and expect to get what you want. It's a whole process.
You have to
People
show that
actually
you want it.
believe that, you know.
It's
People
crazy.
think
That's why people fall out with Christ or fall out of being a Christian, because they think that, because they hear the miracles in the Bible and stuff, like, they be thinking that they can get it just like that. But you need to understand.
Yeah, they don't see the side where you actually have to pray, put in the hard work.
Exactly.
You can't just like pray once and let's say for example someone was struggling financially and then they prayed for God to help them financially and then God gave them like an idea where they can make money, but then they're like, oh, I can't be bothered to plan all
I'm
of
too
this.
tired.
Then that's them losing their chance of growing financially. Like you said, they're too tired. Let's say you pray for God to give you like open doors financially, and He gave you a business idea to, like you said,
I don't have capital.
you're a reseller.
Okay,
And then like
guys.
you're like, oh, nah, I can't be bothered just too long. That's you cutting, like that's you basically closing the door that God has tried to open for you.
God has opened so many doors, but people are blind to it because it wasn't given to them in a dramatic way.
Yeah.
Like, you need to understand, everyone's calling comes in different segments.
Yeah.
It's just the way you
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
receive
yeah,
it, in my
that's true.
opinion. You can't be blind to your calling, otherwise God will just put it onto someone else's life. Could be your best friend. You're wondering, why is my best friend so blessed? It's because you missed out on your blessing that was meant for your life because you didn't receive it in the way you wanted to.
It's just
Some things can
sad.
come in such a dirty way. Some things can come in such a dirty way, but it's up for you to clean it to get the best of that product. Not everything in Christ is going to come to you on a silver platter.
Of course.
You're the one that has to make it a silver platter because God knows what He's doing. It won't make sense to us during the process, but afterwards you're going to be like, oh, it makes sense now.
Bro,
I
understand.
understand it now. Yeah.
You the man, you the man.
You the man, bro.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so good what you said. But me, I still stand that if you don't know how to sing,
she's on about the singers.
Yeah.
Hey,
Bro,
singers, she's coming for you, you know.
Singers.
The
She's coming for you, you know.
forget choir.
The
Go
singers.
and, go
Oh my
and work
days.
with ushering team.
Oh,
This one's here.
she's
Devotion.
coming for you, you know.
Okay, guys, but no, honestly, David, that was so good. That was so. David is a pastor.
Thank
Oh.
you.
Hey, David, that was good. That
Thank
was
you so
really
much.
Good.
Thank you,
Okay,
thank you.
last one, yeah. Why do you think the pressure of being a youth in church, especially when your father, mother is an elder, minister, pastor, something in church? What are the pressures that you have knowing that you're an elder's son or daughter or father or no, not father, child?
You would like to go first?
I'll go first.
Yeah, go
So,
on.
my mum is a youth teacher and my dad is an elder. We've been at the same church for 18 years now. The church is only 18 years, so we joined as soon as it was established. And one thing that I've noticed about being a son of a youth leader and an elder is that me and my other siblings, we were always kind of seen to be perfect. Like, we had to be on time every Sunday. We had to be this, we had to be that. Like, there were certain things that if we didn't do, it was a problem. And I feel like people need to understand that, yes, we need to give our all to Christ and we need to try. But we are humans at the end of the day. Like, no one on the face of this earth is perfect.
Yeah.
Always going to make mistakes. Stuff is always going to happen. But I feel like, I don't know if this is just a Ghanaian thing, but parents and elders, they expect you to always be on it. Like, they expect you to, if you make a mistake, they will grill you. They will not let it slide. Like, they will let it marinate into you. Like, they
Marinate.
will, like, make sure that you know what you done was wrong, and they will go on for that. It can even be years, they will still relate to that moment. But like, in Christianity especially, like, the whole journey, you're always going to be falling off or you're always going to be slipping up. But the main thing is you need to get back up on your feet.
Come on.
You can't just stay down, because if you stay down, you're saying, yeah, devil, you won. You're the winner. But we all know that in Christ doesn't expect us to be perfect, and people don't understand that. He just wants us to give him our all. He doesn't want us to act stupid, because there's some things that we can prevent as humans. Some things we know we shouldn't be doing. But we need to understand that the goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is to kind of get what God has called us for, get souls to Christ, and just be the best version of yourself. but people struggle to do that because our heritage is like it's not like I agree with most of our heritage, but some of the things just don't make sense to me.
Like what? What would you say?
Okay, I'm a be real. Like,
Be real, be real.
I don't think it's right me seeing a random person that's not related to my family at all going up to them, calling them auntie and uncle.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. Like,
I feel like
Bro.
it's more of a
But
respect
it's not
thing,
a
though.
Christian
It's
thing.
a-
It's a
no, but-
cultural thing.
yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like,
It's a
when it comes to
cultural thing.
heritage, like, I hear it that it's out of respect, and I've grown with that, so I don't see a problem with it. But when I properly deep it, yeah, like, it sometimes it just doesn't sit right with me.
Like you don't know the person.
I don't know the person, but I just like. I don't have a problem saying it, but I feel like
You
some
don't have
people-
that relationship for you to be
Yeah.
saying that.
like.
I get,
Yeah.
I get that. That's more of a cultural thing.
Culture,
Yeah.
yeah, heritage.
Because I have this
culture, yeah.
Jamaican friend, and obviously, like, I'm used to calling, like my friend's parents, like, auntie, uncle.
Yeah.
But in, like, the Jamaican culture, like, if you call someone who isn't related to you auntie, like, they take it as an insult.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't know that, you know, like, when I called my friend's mum auntie, and then, like, she just looked at me like I was,
What the heck?
yeah. It was just like, what?
Yeah, it's a cultural thing. It's just a cultural thing where it's like so that's not very Christian. Like it's just our culture where
Yeah.
we want to respect people and we tell them auntie or uncle for a respectful way.
You know, it's so bad, yeah, to the extent that, like, in school, we refer to the teachers as aunties.
I've done that before.
Wow.
As aunties, you call the teachers.
You call your teacher
Yeah,
auntie?
you call them aunt. So if it's a female, they tell you the name, and then you say Auntie Abigail or Uncle. It was so.
Yeah, I've done
So
that before.
when I
yeah, when you come here, you're calling people by their names.
so one funny thing is when I started working at McDonald's, I referred to the shift managers, like, she told me her name, and then during the shift, like, they're white people, yeah, and I started calling them auntie, and they got so upset. She got so pissed, like, she actually got so like, she said, call me by my name, and it was so difficult to call them just by their name because
You're used
I
to it,
felt
innit?
like I need to add uncle this, or if his name is Danny, I need to say Uncle Danny, but it was so weird. But now I'm used to calling them by their names.
Yeah.
Like that's how like
Your
bad
teacher
it
is
got. Oh yeah, so what about that? Mine was a bit of a weird one. So my dad wasn't necessarily a pastor, but there was just Faithful Day. It was a Wednesday evening service, and like he was part of I don't know, the side, like the people who pray.
Yeah.
You know,
Like the intercessors or
exactly.
prayer warriors.
something like that. And then sometimes, you know how back in William, they'll give you the opportunity to give a sermon. So this Wednesday night was my dad who was giving the sermon, and then one of my teachers from school happened to be in that sermon that day. So just randomly out of nowhere the next day, everyone in the school thought I was a pastor's kid because it was my dad who gave the sermon. So then everything changed. Like everything I said, any step I take, they'll be like, "Oh, pastor's child," like that judgmental
Yeah,
thing.
that's
Like they became so
expectations.
judgmental with everything. And I mean, growing up, it was quite annoying to deal with. But then I just didn't care as I got older.
How about you, AJ?
Well, so I'm a pastor's kid.
You are?
And, like, growing up, I would say between the ages of, like, from 5 to, like, 10, didn't really feel any pressure because, obviously, they see me as a kid. They're like, oh, like, pastor's kid, yeah. But then when you get to 11, that's when they start putting all this pressure on you. And, like, bro, anything I do, they would be like, oh, you're pastor's kid, you can't do that. Like, for example, the church I used to go to, obviously I'm a kid, so during church I'll be on my phone like playing a game or something. Because all the guys around me, they're playing games. But then there was this one lady, she'd always take my phone because
And then
I'm pastor's
leave
kid.
the others.
And everyone else around me is playing games. I'm like, oh, because you're
Oh.
pastor's kid. Oh, you need to be focusing. One day it will be you preaching.
Hey.
Or like, I'm like, bro, I'm a kid. Like,
Yeah.
Let me be a
Let
kid.
me be a kid.
because I feel like if you put too much pressure on a kid, it will get to a point where, like, for example, as we were talking before, like, why do youth leave church? Let's say you put too much pressure on them, and now they've grown up, they're like, oh, like, they've had this pressure for a while. They just want to be free, so then they just leave.
That's why, like, most of the PKs, like, I'm not saying
They
this
go
is
really
you.
wild, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not saying this is you, but like
But
the
that's
stories
true.
I've heard about pastors' kids, sons and daughters,
That is
like,
true.
because there's so much pressure on them,
They
when
go
they go out, they
wild.
go wild.
Wow.
Like, I've heard the wildest of stories to do with
It's
PKs.
always the PKs,
The
yeah?
PKs.
Whoa.
No,
I'm a
like
PK
I
as
said,
well.
Oh, yeah, actually?
Yeah.
but the stories I've heard, it's like,
But it's true.
I don't know what it is. I understand why they would.
It's true.
I understand why,
Sorry, bro.
like, they've kind of let themselves loose, because imagine that whole life you're getting. Oh, you're pastor's kid. You can't wear jeans to church. Oh, you're pastor's kid. Where's your tie? This, that. Like,
Hey,
there's so
that's
much that
too,
comes
that's
with
it.
it.
too much
So
Like,
pressure.
they want you to be clean and pristine. If there's something small, they're on your back. This, that. That's why I feel like when they get to their teenage years, they start to indulge in
Rebel.
the worldly things, and like, that's what it's like, rebel and stuff, because they don't get a childhood. Like, the whole
Yeah.
childhood
as you said,
is
so
all
true. Like, look at AJ saying that he just wanted to play his game.
Yeah.
He's a
Be a
kid.
kid,
like,
Like every other
I just
kid.
wanted to be a kid, man.
like, they don't get the small things that can keep them away from the bad things. But I feel like being a elder's kid, pastor's kid, there's just so much pressure on you
Yeah.
that they don't.
It's a bit unrealistic as
Yeah.
well, the expectation, because you're expected to be. Of course, there's a certain standard that
100%.
obviously you should have.
Yeah.
But then it becomes unrealistic.
Mm.
So wherein you just can't do anything that will go unnoticed.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
that creates pressure on that person, especially if he's a youth, because in that phase of your life, you are kind of like discovering yourself. You're in a journey of discovery of yourself, and knowing that any little thing, AJ, any little thing, David, any little thing, Divine, AJ. I saw AJ here. I saw AJ in this place.
How many
I
times
saw
has that happened
AJ
to
there.
me?
I saw
Oh
AJ
my
this
Amount
place.
of times I've
I
come
saw
home.
David in this.
It's
I
peak,
saw.
you know.
Do you understand? You have become monitoring spirits, and it's no longer. It's not healthy. It's not healthy anymore. And I'm a PK, and I had that. I had a lot of pressure, and it wasn't even from my parents. It was a lot from outsiders, people in the church. So because if somebody calls you now and tells you, "Oh, I saw your daughter in the city center. I can go out. I'm not a prisoner in my house." You get what I mean? And then your parents will be like, but what were you doing in the city center? But what do you get what I mean? So
Yeah.
it creates that kind of environment where, so that's why also with our daddies and mummies, try and give that, in as much as you can't control what people would say, but we as parents, and we can control how we are receptive to certain things that people say. So like, for example, my mom, she's the kind of person that no matter what you tell her, she's a pastor, but no matter what you tell her, she would not believe. She's the kind of person that she would always take a child's first approach. I don't know if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like she will not believe, but she will first want to know. She doesn't just assume that, oh, this happened.
Yeah.
Do you get what I
They
mean?
want to get like your side of the story
Exactly,
first.
side of the story. So that helped a lot in mitigating certain things. Do you get what I mean? So the pressure is there for PKs. I'm sorry for you guys. I'm sorry, but it comes with it. But the good thing is that you're growing up in the way of the Lord. You understand the things of the Lord. And one question, the very last. As a PK, would you want to be a pastor?
I feel like
A lot of PK say no, but I was just
this
saying.
is one topic that I don't really have a certain answer for, because I can't say I want to be a pastor. If I want to be a pastor, but God doesn't call me, I can't just force myself to be a pastor. Do you get?
But
But
see,
like-
God, okay, let's forget maybe this. God called you to be a pastor. Yeah. Let's say
God, if
peradventure.
God called me, I'm picking up the phone.
Peradventure.
Yo, your God.
Your God.
Hey, yo, bro.
God called you. Oh, the three of you. Okay, say God called you now into the ministry,
Wow.
the ministry, like the fivefold ministry. We know the fivefold ministry.
Yeah.
Pastor, prophet, teacher. Do you get what I mean? Now, not that, oh, I wasn't called. Let's forget all this, remove all this ones. God called you.
Okay.
Would you accept it, knowing the struggles and things you saw
That's a
your
difficult one.
parents go through as pastors?
Me personally, I would, because I heavily believe that God wouldn't put something on my plate that's too hefty or that I couldn't digest.
good.
God knows everyone's like portions. God knows how much this person can handle and how much that person can't handle.
That's good.
So I feel like if God has put something in my direction, I'm going to take it. I would be a fool not to take it because, like I said, God doesn't think for the temporary like we do. He thinks about the bigger picture, and I think about the bigger picture as well. So if I see that God has said, "Yo, David, it's time for you to start ministering or start like to be a teacher or preacher," I will take that opportunity because, like, it's a blessing to be working in the house of the Lord. 'Cause not many people are called for that. So if you are called for that, you can't let go of that blessing.
Okay,
in my
that's
opinion.
good. Like that. How about you guys? Be realistic. He's coming from his own.
I don't know about him, but
What?
God has called me to be a pastor. Like He has shown me vividly that
For
divine.
venture, that's the scenario.
Huh. Well, I mean, let's say Jonah in the Bible. When God sends Jonah, when Jonah didn't go, what happened to him? He got eaten by a big fish.
Yeah.
So since I don't want to be eaten by a big fish, since I don't want to be eaten by a big fish,
That's fair.
if God says divine, it's time. I have no choice but to go.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So yeah, I will.
But
I
do you
will.
feel like that because of the pressure?
Mainly because of the but on a more serious note, like if God showed me in a vision that, I mean, obviously He's going to strengthen me. I'll be able to go through whatever the adventurous of the
Adventurous.
like the steps towards ministering and being a preacher. So yeah, I would
Okay.
do
Okay.
it. Yeah.
How
Fair.
about you, AJ?
I feel like at first I'll be hesitant.
I feel like
But yeah, yeah. At first I'll be hesitant because obviously it's a big thing to
It's a
take on.
big
Yeah,
thing.
because like you don't have a. How do they get paid, pastors? Like, is it offering or what?
You're asking the wrong people.
I don't want to depend on offering because I want a very luxurious lifestyle and it's hard. So I don't know.
But yeah, it's a big thing to take on, both spiritually and physically. Because I know people that are in full-time ministry, so obviously everything they do is devoted to Christ, and obviously they have a lot to do. Like they have a lot to do, because they have a full church. Everyone's obviously they're coming to them about their problems.
Yeah.
They're expecting them to have time for everyone.
Yeah.
But at the same time, people don't even think about pastors.
Absolutely.
They only think about them on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Like
Monday
Monday to Saturday, you wouldn't even check up on your pastor.
Yeah, you would never. It's
That's
so
true,
true.
you know.
We don't check up on our pastors.
That's
It's
something
only when
should
we
work
have
on.
issues that we
Free the
check up on
pastors.
them.
Freedom.
Pastor, huh?
Freedom. Free the pastors.
Free the pastors.
Free
That's
the
the hashtag. Hashtag free the pastors. Okay. Carry on, AJ.
But yeah, so obviously I'll be hesitant at first, but then with prayer, then yeah, I'll take
Yeah.
on the role.
Yeah.
I would actually love to be a pastor one day. If God
It's
calls
there.
me,
The calling
I
is
wouldn't
there.
force it.
It's there. It's there.
Hopefully, it's all in God's hands.
Amen.
Yeah, I think it's good to know that being a pastor is it's not an easy thing.
Mm.
Yeah, in as much as it looks glamorous to preach, and it looks glamorous but being a pastor is not being a preacher. Do you get a pastor is like a shepherd, so he has to take care of the flock. Do you
And about
understand
that,
what I mean?
yeah.
So it's not just because sometimes we think pastoring is preaching. That's just 10% of the work they do. Do Do you understand? To be a pastor, you have to really have the heart of a father.
Yeah, that's true.
The heart of a father. So it's not an easy thing. I agree with you that I would be a bit like thinking about it. I think personally, previously, sorry guys, I was a bit hesitant. I don't think I wanted to be a pastor, and I don't think I wanted to marry a pastor at some point in my life, because seeing that people would come and sleep in our house, I would have to go and sleep in the living room, and I'm like, why? Like, why do I have to give up my bed for people? Like, do you get what I mean? Having continuously people that you're helping, and sometimes the same people you're helping are chatting shit about you. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
It can feel bad. Like, you're like, all these things, like, it's not nice. Do you get? I'll see my parents help people. Like, literally, people had a lot of people that slept in our houses. A lot of people that didn't have houses stayed in, and which is beautiful things. Like, it's beautiful, but at the same time, as a kid, like, you just want to sleep in your bed. Do you get what I mean? It's
I
like,
hear it.
why we're doing that, and then these people don't even care about us. I used to tell my mom that they don't even care about us. Like, at the end of the day, like, we're helping these people. They don't care. They actually don't care about us. They don't care. We'll give money to people. Do you get what I mean? And then the same people will be like, oh, pastors are this or that. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so when I was growing up, I didn't enjoy it all. Nah, I would have like, this is, and as you said, like, financially, like, obviously we are brought, like, we in the UK and Italy and Europe or whatsoever, so people work.
Yeah.
But I mean, having to imagine your dad working, doing what's it called? Like, I don't know about you, but in Italy we call it fabrica. I don't know how you call that in English. Doing labor job, like a warehouse, and then having to, somebody will call him 4 a.m. or 2 a.m. that they're dying, and they would run to go and, do you get what I mean? So it's like, it comes with a burden, but as you said, God will never give you something that he doesn't know that you don't have the strength to carry. And when you see it as, this is a higher calling, I'm going to impact people's lives, and my life will be glorified through Jesus. Like, Jesus will be seen in me. Then, you just take it. But I would be like AJ a bit. I was like AJ a bit hesitant. Like, I just want to be a member. Like, just sit down and. But
I feel like being hesitant is like the mind games that the devil tries to play with you, because I've even experienced it myself. Doing the wrong things feel right, and doing the right things feel wrong. Like, it's like saving money. When you're first learning how to save money, it feels so weird. It feels so odd. But as you progress, you know that for the bigger picture, it's something that's going to benefit
you, yeah.
So I feel like when it comes to the things of the Lord, when God calls you, it's always a shaky start, because it's literally a spiritual fight between your soul and the devil. The devil's always going to try to do things to win you over. But it's up to you to stay strong.
That's true.
So yeah, I feel like the hesitant thing is a normal thing, but we need to kind of break that barrier that I don't even know how to say it.
Yeah, it's true. And if it's there, it's there, and you have to pick it up. Do you get? You have to, and then you would go through that journey of first maybe being hesitant whatsoever, and saying like, who am I? Just like David said, who am I? Like, who am I that you understand? But then you get to a point where it's like, it's all, God, wherever you want me to go, I would go, because you've come to a place where you understand kingdom. It's not about you anymore, but it's about kingdom. It's about is will in heaven seen on earth.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So it's true. If anyone has a calling in their lives, even if you're feeling a bit, as David said, that's just the trick of the enemy to trick you not to do. You might feel hesitant. You might feel doubtful. I mean, even Elijah, after he confronted, he all of a sudden he was doubtful. But in that doubt, don't give up. Carry on. Press on to the higher calling, because God has something to do with you. Guys, it's a wrap.
Yes.
Is it a wrap?
It is a wrap.
It's
yeah.
a wrap.
Is
It's
it
a wrap.
though? Is it though?
Is it though? Is it though? Do you, do you have more to talk
One
about?
more, just one more
Okay,
thing I
okay.
want to say.
I like this panel.
Being a pastor is like the final boss of present your
What are
body.
you doing? Oh
The
my.
present your
You
body.
guys just ended that.
Present your body as a living sacrifice. Final boss.
Okay. All right.
That's just what I
So
want to say.
Divine, as Divine said, final boss, and this is our final bus stop. Okay, guys, it's a wrap.
Oh, that was-
Please, again, once again, what are you waiting for? Subscribe, subscribe, please subscribe, share our videos, and please let us know your thoughts in the comment section. And any topic you would like us to speak about, please leave it on the comment section. It's a wrap, guys. Bye.